Breaking news that's coming in right now in the Navjot Singh Sidhu case. Senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi mentions the Navjot Sidhu case and seeks time from the Supreme Court to surrender on medical grounds. The bench has asked him to mention the issue and the matter before the Chief Justice of India's bench. So, is that a delaying tactic by Navjot Singh Sidhu? His advocate has sought more time to surrender in the case, in the sentence which was in fact imposed upon him by the Supreme Court yesterday, the one-year rigorous imprisonment sentence imposed upon Navjot Singh Sidhu. Now he is seeking more time to surrender on medical grounds. Anisha Mathur is now joining me live on this. Anisha, a delaying tactic by Navjot Singh Sidhu?
Well, at this moment, we'll have to see whether the court accepts this application at all or not, because Navjot Singh Sidhu's legal team, of course, has asked for time. The senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi mentioned this matter before the bench headed by Justice Khanwilkar, who had passed the verdict yesterday, directing Sidhu to undergo 1-year imprisonment. Now, it was a very, very brief mentioning, less than about 30 seconds. Mr. Singhvi asked for time. He said that there are medical grounds, there are medical conditions, that he should be given time to surrender. The Justice Khanwilkar, however, said that if you want some matter listed, please mention it before the Chief Justice. You cannot mention matters here. Now, we'll have to wait and see if this matter is mentioned before the bench of the Chief Justice and whether the Chief Justice agrees to give Sidhu an urgent hearing. But at this moment, yes, as you just said, Palmi, it seems that there is some sort of a delaying tactic being played out, that Sidhu, instead of surrendering immediately, is asking for time to surrender, and it's claiming medical grounds, certain health conditions, to say that he should not be required to surrender immediately. Now, whether or not the court actually agrees to hear him remains to be seen.
Okay, so it remains to be seen if the CJI-led bench is agreeing to hear this matter or not, and in fact grants him that sort of reprieve, the temporary reprieve that he's looking for. But Anisha, any sort of details on what kind of medical grounds is he seeking this reprieve on?
Well, follow me, there was no detail given during the brief mentioning. As I said, it was just about 20 to 30 seconds where Mr. Singhvi mentioned the matter and the court asked him to go to the CJI. We are still getting more details. We'll get more details as and when the matter is mentioned again before the Chief Justice. But at the moment, it seems more in the it seems like it is sort of a delaying tactic that Navjot Singh Sidhu he may be asking for certain reprieve. Now, he has mentioned that he should be granted a few weeks to surrender before the court. This plea was opposed of also the lawyer for the victim family was also present in the courtroom, and he opposed this plea. But of course, the court has declined to hear this at all till the Chief Justice decides on whether this matter will be heard or not. But at the moment, what we do know is that he's asked for a few weeks of time. The victim family, of course, has said, the lawyers of the victim families, of course, said that it has already been a very long wait. Why is this kind of delaying tactic being used? And now we're waiting to see if the Chief Justice's bench listens to what Sidhu's lawyers have to say. Back to you.
Also, Anisha, just one quick question also about, what sort of legal options, in fact, are before Sidhu in order to try and possibly avoid, serving this sentence. There's the curative petition. Is he going to file one? And what are the chances that it could, in fact, bring any kind of relief for him?
Well, Pallavi, the curative petition, while the option is always there in this, considering the way our legal system is structured, it is very, very rare for a curative petition to be taken up or to be considered. More importantly, even if it is considered, it normally takes a lot of time. Navjot Singh Sidhu is facing a 1-year jail term. Normally, curative petitions tend to take several months or years to even be heard. It's because they are usually a matter that are taken up in a case where there is a very obvious lacuna or very obvious error in the face of the law, or it is with regard to a death penalty case. Those are the only two reasons why any curative petition is even filed or entertained by the court. Here, if Sidhu chooses to go that route, he will first have to show that the verdict passed by the Supreme Court was legally incorrect or factually incorrect. Remember, yesterday's order passed by the court is in a review petition where the court had said that our 2018 order had let him off with the minimum possible sentence, and now we are changing that because this is a very serious case, that he, as a 25-year-old sports person in the prime of his life, had attacked a 65-year-old man, which had led to his death. And legally speaking, there are very, very few grounds for Sidhu to file a curative petition and for that curative petition to be heard. So, but of course, as I said, the option remains whether he chooses to exercise it and whether it is even feasible for him to exercise it, considering the short duration of his incarceration, whether there will be any point in him trying to then get a curative petition, then to get a stay order, and then drag on these proceedings for longer. But of course, the option is there, and we'll have to see if his legal team chooses to exercise it. But for now, they have only asked for a few weeks' time to surrender. Back to you.
Okay. Anisha, thank you so much for bringing us all of those details. So Anisha Mathur there tracking all the developments over there. Navjot Singh Sidhu's lawyer there seeking more time to surrender on medical grounds, but the bench headed by Justice Khanvilkar, in fact, who heard him, said that mentioned this matter before the Chief Justice of India.